Okay, bare bones reviews of the first 4 movies. I think Jurassic Park was a fantastically well-made movie. It had good characters, great effects and animatronics, and a good story. 25 years later, and this movie still holds up compared to today's movies. The Lost World Jurassic Park was okay, I guess. I mean, to me, it wasn't completely terrible. It definitely wasn't good. I mean, the characters were mostly bad. I like Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. I like Peter Postlewaite. I hope I didn't butcher his name, because, wow, that guy's like awesome in this movie. I liked him as Roland Tembo, but that's it. The effects and animatronics were still good, but overall, this movie was just okay. Jurassic Park 3 was easily the worst Jurassic Park movie in this franchise. It was boring, predictable, full of dumb and terrible characters. William H. Macy and Tay Leone's characters were just they were the worst. Sam Neill was like the only bearable part of this movie. And this movie was just really just a waste of fucking time. Jurassic World was something. It was silly, goofy, and dumb, but pretty entertaining, I guess. Believe me, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard's character was terrible. Vincent D'Onofrio's character was a fucking cliche. Chris Pratt was Chris Pratt, and that's fine. Overall, this movie was just meh. Or okay. I'm still trying to figure this movie out. That brings us to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Whoa. Our movie starts 3 years after Jurassic World, where a team of mercenaries are trying to retrieve a bone of the dead Indominus Rex. Why it took 3 full years is beyond me, but... And don't say it could be a flashback, because the damn thing is a skeleton at this point. And in the process of retrieving the bone, the mosasaur gets loose, and I refuse to believe that that thing was just swimming around for more than a few days without noticing that shit. So that begs the question... Why did it take the bad guys 3 years to do this? Plus, why do they need this bone? I mean, doesn't Henry Wu have some sort of samples of the Indominus Rex? Weren't they packing that shit up in Jurassic World, or am I bugging out? It's whatever. Anyway, a black dude piloting the submersible tells his nervous co-pilot to relax. Anything down here would be dead by now. Based on what? They come across the skeleton of the Indominus Rex. We know because the pilot literally says, there she is, the Indominus Rex. Thank you, Discount Will.i.am, for that incredibly awkward dialogue. The submersible cuts off a piece of bone and sends it to the ocean surface for the mercenary team in a helicopter to retrieve it. The submersible is swallowed whole possibly by the mosasaur, who chokes and dies. That doesn't happen, but it should. Not because fuck that thing, but because unless it's secretly a Pornhub cam girl, it should not be able to eat a submersible like that. Anyway, some dork using a Sheikah site loses contact with a sub as the chopper dudes come back for the dork. They see a T-Rex in the distance, somehow. I'll explain why this makes no sense in a bit. The chopper guys are yelling to the dork instead of contacting him through his headset. That straight up reminds me of that scene in Spaceballs.
Sir? What? Are we being too literal?
No, you fool. We're following orders. We were told to comb the desert, so we're combing it.
Found anything yet?
Anyway, the chopper guys notice the T-Rex in the darkness, but the dork can't see it in the dark, conveniently enough. There is a nice shot of a flash of lightning that exposes the T-Rex in the darkness. That was pretty well done. The T-Rex is literally 15 feet from him because, despite not seeing it or not hearing it, he couldn't feel the impact tremor of his footsteps. I guess dinosaurs are ninjas in this trilogy for some reason. The dork screams like Clint Howard and outruns the T-Rex.
How fast are they? Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
I guess despite being ninjas, they can't catch up to someone who doesn't even look like they're running that fast. In the process, the dork drops the Sheikah slate, the T-Rex stomps on it, and this prevents the mosasaur closure from closing, allowing the mosasaur to escape. But I thought it was only located in... The dork jumps and grabs onto the rope ladder hanging from the chopper sent down by the chopper guys, but Rexy chomps on the rope ladder and hangs on. The chopper guys decide it's best to cut the rope ladder and leave the dork to die. Why didn't you start with that? You clearly didn't give a shit about this guy if you're willing to let him die without hesitation. Why not leave him the second you saw the T-Rex? You have the Indominus Rex bone, the sub is missing, the dork somehow doesn't hear you yelling at him or doesn't see the T-Rex or hear the T-Rex approaching him. Just go! You work for assholes who are attempting to make a new killing machine. This is not the time to pretend like you have morals. Rexy pulls the ladder in half, leaving the dork to survive the encounter. But just when you thought he was going to survive, you didn't care, didn't you? The Mosasaur conveniently bursts out of the water and swallows him whole. I'm just going to call them the convenience source from now on because that's all they do. They show up conveniently. That's all they are, convenience. I am most definitely going to forget calling him that by the next scene, so just forget I even said that. The scene ends with the Mosasaur leaving the island and not being a problem until the tail end of this movie. The movie then goes to the opening titles, which is honestly pretty unique and well done compared to the other 4 movies. The movie then shows a news report stating that a volcano on Isla Nublar is active and can kill all of the dinosaurs on the island. Perfect place to build a theme park, huh? The report also mentions that the Mizrahi Corporation paid up to $800 million to survivors of the second Isla Nublar incident. I'll explain why this means dick in a bit. There are also animal rights groups who forgot a T-Rex her ass to San Diego 21 years ago, killed a snarky British Jew, the writer of that movie, a dog, and the crew of a ship. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened. That mystery is up there with the 5 people that Harvey Dent killed in The Dark Knight. Guess we'll never know, huh? Fuck it. These same activists must have forgotten about that minor incident 3 years ago when an entire park full of people were attacked by dinosaurs. Fucking hippies. At a Senate hearing, Jeff Goldblum makes a masturbatory fan service cameo as Dr. Ian Malcolm. Don't get too attached to him because he won't be in this movie for very long. He thinks they should let the dinosaurs die on the island before they end up all over the world. That foreshadowing is as obvious as Stallone foreshadowing Yondu's death in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Meanwhile, we meet the villain of the last movie, Claire Dewing, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's now running a dinosaur protection group? What? How was this cunt on heels not buried up to her tits in fucking lawsuits? She was an operations manager for the park. Her ignorance led to people dying. She outran a T-Rex in fucking heel. We're also introduced to Zia Rodriguez, a cute Mexican-American nerd. I thought she was Asian. She's not, so what? Fuck you. She's played by Daniela Pineda. I think I got that name right. She is the Velma Dinkley of this movie. Why? Because she's dirty, nerdy, and curvy. She tells someone on the phone that she has a dinosaur's best interest in mind because she's a paleo veterinarian, but she's never seen a dinosaur. Alright then. Claire talks with the person on the phone who is a congresswoman apparently. While she's talking, Zia and Franklin Webb, played by Justice Smith, have pointless dialogue that's only there to introduce Franklin to the movie. Otherwise, he just randomly shows up on the plane to Isla Nublar. He pokes fun at her and she dishes it back, and he says, "You don't need to insult me every time someone pisses you off." Well, you started that, so fuck you, dude. She makes fun of his job, which I guess he's a former IT technician according to Wikipedia, and Zia is a former Marine according to the same article. What? Based on what? Because she held a gun that one time in this movie? I don't see anything in this movie to suggest that. She doesn't even say she is. This has as much evidence backing it up as Lando being pansexual in Solo. Claire holds a gun in this movie, doesn't make her fucking G.I. Jane. No Wikipedia for me. Franklin tells Zia his job is more important than she thinks. Spoilers, it's not. Claire talks with the congresswoman and uses emotional manipulation by asking if she has kids, and says that her kids are living in a world where dinosaurs are living and breathing, and may now have to watch them go extinct unless people like her make a difference. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing screams hero like emotionally manipulating people into seeing things your way. A news report shows that the government has decided to not save the dinosaurs from the volcano, and Claire laments that the dinosaurs are gonna die and no one cares. Fuck you, cuntilingus. This movie is trying really hard to make me believe that she's a decent human being. She's not. She's a piece of shit. She saw an entire squad of soldiers die after Chris Pratt said, "Pull them back before they get killed." And she's like,
"You are not in control here."
And then Dominus Rex is all like,
"Do you feel in charge?"
And kills the entire squad of soldiers. Chris Pratt says, "Shut the fucking park down," and she says,
"We'd never reopen."
Are you fucking kidding me? She then chastised a guy for wearing a Jurassic Park t-shirt, saying it was in bad taste. Right, because building a park on the bones of 4 different people who have died 22 years earlier is tasteful. Suck my dick, you ginger god. Zia and Franklin are standing there like, yeah, we care, remember us? We're important to the movie. Spoiler, they're not. Claire gets a call summoning her to the estate of Benjamin Lockwood, played by James Cromwell, and meets Eli Mills, played by Rafe Spall, who, even if the trailer didn't spoil anything, he's obviously the villain of this fucking movie. He runs Lockwood's fortune, I guess? I'm not... I don't know, maybe I missed something there. He tells Claire he plans to move the dinosaurs to a new island where they live in... Oh, no. Lockwood meets Claire and oh my god, it's Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy from Spider-Man 3. Anyway, Lockwood was John Hammond's partner before the first part, but they had a falling out and that will be explained later. Lockwood then quotes Hammond from the end of the Lost World Jurassic Park.
These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help.
Can we talk about this new island for a second? Where the fuck is Ilasorna? Eli Mills mentioned it earlier, so is that island just gone now? Did that island also get wiped out by a volcano? Fuck, what are you doing to me, movie? Stop making me question this dumb shit. Lockwood talks about his falling out with John Hammond while hypnotizing us with nostalgia by looking at John Hammond's old cane from the first Jurassic Park. Lockwood is sent away to take his meds, thanks for contributing nothing to the scene. Mills tells Claire about the tracking system and the dinosaurs and he needs her handprint because no one else knows the island like her. What? Don't you have Dr. Henry Wu working for you? Didn't he work at this park like twice now? Why not send him? Why do you need this idiot? Mills wants to save 11 species of dinosaurs, but wants Blue especially. Claire says Blue can pick up someone's scent from a mile away. Remember this, because it'll mean dick later. Mills wants Claire to recruit Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, in order to get Blue. Claire and Owen are at a bar having a who gives a flying fuck conversation about how they broke up and who they're dating. Gee, I didn't realize this was an MCU movie. Claire requests that Owen come with her to the island and says that Blue is alive. How does she know this? Mills wasn't even really sure. He never said she was alive. He just said he wanted her. So is Claire certain she's alive? Or maybe it's more of that heroic emotional manipulation. Our heroes, my friends. She tries some more emotional manipulation and Owen refuses to go. Claire admits that her manipulation failed and she leaves in a huff. Later that night, Owen watches an old video of him training the baby raptors. There's a moment in the footage where like 3 of them are fucking around and one of them screeches at the other and they all stand in profile next in front of Owen. That was actually a pretty neat moment, bringing back the rapper's ability to communicate from the previous movies. Gee, I wonder if Owen will join the expedition now. Spoiler, what the fuck do you think? Zia, Franklin, and Claire are ready to leave via airplane. Claire gets in the airplane and takes her seat, then Owen sits up in the back seat and surprises Claire.
I have several questions.
She got on the plane and she was headed in his direction. She didn't see a wild Chris Pratt sitting there. How did he get in there with no one noticing anyway? If the pilots did notice, why didn't they tell Claire, hey, there's a wild Chris Pratt sitting in the back fucking seat of the airplane? What is even happening at this point? Owen makes one masturbatory reference to Jurassic World and his motorcycle ride with the Raptors. Who fucking cares? Back at the Lockwood estate, Lockwood's caretaker is looking for Macy in a really dumb scene. They're trying to build suspense like there's a possibility a dinosaur is going to attack the fucking nanny. Like, why? The dinosaurs are brought to the estate like 2/3 of the way into the movie. Why are you trying to make us anxious for this woman? What could possibly put her life in danger right now? Anyway, Macy jumps out and gives us a cheap jump scare, and the nanny calls her a silly sausage. Is that what they call a clown's dick? I'll have to ask my British friend about that later. The nanny says, hey, one day my heart might really stop, then what? Then I literally laughed out loud at the thought of that old battle axe dying. Macy sees her grandfather Lockwood, and this scene is so important. Our quote-unquote heroes arrive on an island and meet Ken Wheatley, played by Ted Would You Fuck Me Levine, who works for Mills. The group heads into the park accompanied by a group of armed men, and I'm wishing Franklin and his bug spray would just fucking die already. While they're traveling through the park, Wheatley asks Claire and Owen, hey, bad memories, huh? And Owen replies, there were some good ones.
People are dying.
They stop, and this movie kind of tries to be clever by having a compy standing there on a table full of dinosaur toys, like it's one of the toys. Then it just runs off, but my question is, why is it just standing there? It wasn't even regular standing either. It looked like it was trying to mimic the toys. But again, why is it just standing there? Have these compies killed anything besides that one guy who walked half a fucking mile to take a piss in the Lost World Jurassic Park? Granted, it did catch me off guard, but it just didn't make any sense. Zia sees a brachiosaur and decides to run out of the vehicle to see it. Wise choice in an abandoned theme park full of wild dinosaurs. They all watch the brachiosaur and that's it. That's the scene. They all get to a bunker where Franklin hacks into everything and activates the tracking system. Owen, Wheatley, and Zia go to look for Blue. Wheatley shows concern for Zia and she says, "I'm not as soft as you think."
Ugh! Who talks like that?
Oh, you cunt. Claire and Owen have some admittedly humorous dialogue before leaving. I'd love to show you this scene from the trailer or TV spots, but apparently Universal's going on a fucking warpath abusing the fair use system. So thank those douchebags. Owen finds Blue and tries to reconnect with her, but Wheatley's men shoot her with tranq darts. Claire specifically said Blue could catch someone's scent from a mile away. How did this dumb 6-foot turkey not notice these guys approaching? He has Chris Pratt's scent, but he didn't have the other scent too on top of that scent? He's not like, ooh, Chris Pratt's scent. Wait, there's somebody else here too. And it's not Chris Pratt, and I don't like it. What, you fucking Jesus Christ. Anyway, Blue attacks one of Wheatley's men and ends up getting shot. Owen does the smart thing and charges towards an armed Wheatley and surprisingly gets shot with a tranq dart. Who could have seen that coming? Zia does the smart thing and points a gun at an armed Wheatley while surrounded by his armed men. So smart! Zia bargains with Wheatley that if she dies, Blue will die too. So Wheatley decides to let her live so she can take care of Blue. They head out leaving Owen behind, and I'm left thinking our heroes value dinosaurs' lives more than human lives. Back at the bunker, the mercs lock Claire and Franklin in the bunker. I guess they were saving their bullets for a rainy day or something. That's some thick plot armor Claire and Franklin have. It makes bad guys stupid. Wheatley calls Mills to tell him about Blue. While Mills is on the phone, Macy walks in and tries to talk to him, but he snaps at her. And we're supposed to think,
Why are you so mean?
but all I'm thinking is,
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
I totally sympathize with Mills here. He's clearly on the phone, and his dummy saunters in wanting to talk to him about boring kid shit. And we're supposed to feel bad for her when Mills snaps at her? Fuck that noise. I've literally had that same problem recently, and I want to give that person a spinning back kick right to the fucking temple. We go back to Owen, who is still somehow alive and not getting his asshole chewed up by a dinosaur. But a triceratops licks his face, and how cute, it licks a fly onto his face. Yuck. The lava gets close enough to him to set him ablaze from the heat alone, but that doesn't happen. He just does these funny... It's not funny. Funny movements to get away, and I shit you not, he slaps the lava with his hand as he's trying to get away. Jesus H fucking Christ. The writers know how lava works just like Rian Johnson knows how fucking space works. I don't know. Call me silly. Maybe I'm wrong about all of this shit. Back at the bunker, Franklin opens up an escape route into a tunnel. Maybe climbing that ladder they eventually use isn't dramatic and doesn't unnecessarily cause danger. They get a proximity alert and fear it might be a T-Rex. What? Have you never seen a T-Rex before? It's clearly not big enough to fit in that damn tunnel. Whew, shit. Franklin jar jars his way through this scene as a baryonyx walks in as lava rains from the ceiling. Lava plops on the baryonyx's head and it survives? That wasn't a drop of lava too, that was at least 2 pints of lava hitting its head. So why should I care about these dinosaurs? Lava clearly doesn't do damage to them, it's just a mild inconvenience. Claire hams it up by pointing and yelling, "Chair!" Wow. Franklin grabs the chair and the baryonyx decides to chomp on the chair. Why? I thought she wanted to eat the people. Oh, fuck it. They use the chair to climb the ladder, but the ladder has excellent comedic timing and lowers Franklin back into the room. Ha! Funny. Franklin just stands there like an idiot instead of immediately climbing up the ladder. But that's okay, because we get to hear him scream like a little girl again. Funny. The baryonyx nips at his pants leg instead of taking his leg completely off. And Claire and Franklin escape the bunker. They censor Claire saying holy shit because they forgot they were in a PG-13 movie. And we see Owen outrunning the dinosaurs and ash and lava. And then they all run away. Oh shit. They all hide behind the gyroscope hamster ball thing from the last movie as dinosaurs politely stampede around them. Oh sorry. I'm so... Claire and Franklin get into the hamster ball, but the Carnosaurus decides to say fuck the volcano and sets its sights on Owen, Claire, and Franklin. But the Triceratops says fuck the volcano and attacks the Carnosaur. They fight while our heroes just stand there until the dinos knock the hamster ball around. Then the Triceratops is like fuck the Carnosaur and runs off. Why did you attack the Carnosaur? Or did the Carnosaur attack you? I fucking don't remember any of this shit. The Carnosaur gets up and is like, fuck the volcano, and is about to attack our quote-unquote heroes. Eventually. But our favorite hero of inconvenience, Rexy, arrives and kills the Carnosaur, and it roars for the trailer and is like, fuck the humans, and runs off. Okay, these dinosaurs have very terrible consistency. Claire and Franklin ride the hamster ball off the cliff. Claire makes a funny face while screaming, and Owen is outrunning the ash. I am not fucking joking. He doesn't even get trampled or anything. He just survives this. The hamster ball is sinking and filling up with water, and is admittedly a cool, long, one-take shot, but even they screw this up because Owen keeps popping up with weapons out of nowhere. He has a gun somehow, and I think he had one on him earlier, and this is how Zia got hold of one, but we never see her put it back on him, and he didn't exactly have time to get it while he was laying there, and he woke up to fucking lava creeping up on him. Then he swims away and comes back with a knife. Where did you get a knife, dude? He uses it to open up the hamster ball and they all swim to dry land. Claire screams that it was all a lie! It's all a lie! And I don't know what that was based on, but okay. So far they didn't lie. They are actually taking dinosaurs off this island. They hang back on a hill and watch the poor dinosaurs being taken away while our heroes pout and oh no. Wheatley reveals his bad guy gimmick. His gimmick is ripping teeth out of dinosaurs' mouths and collecting them. Oh boy, of course. Franklin asks if they already had dinosaurs, why did they need them? And apparently Wheatley mentioned that he already had dinosaurs earlier, so I guess I must have not missed that the first time I saw it. Claire answers saying that they needed them to activate the tracking system in blue. What the fuck is so special about fucking blue? Why do people have a hard-on for these rappers? They only listen to Chris Pratt. He's their god church. What the fuck is a god church? What kind of retard? Owen, Claire, and Franklin make a run for the boat that's about to leave the island. They get into a conveniently placed truck the mercs were kind enough to leave behind. They all get in and jump the truck into the boat, and no one notices a big-titted ginger step out of the truck. This is probably because she disguised herself in a hat. Hats are good cover for boobs, apparently. The mercs are now quote-unquote heroes look on as a Brachiosaurus stands on the edge of the island moaning as the lava approaches it. I do like that it stood up on its hind legs because I imagine that's something a Brachiosaurus would do when it's surrounded by lava. However, I would be saddened by this Brachiosaurus' death, but a Baryonyx took a cum shot of lava to the face and brushed it off like a mild inconvenience, so whatever. Back at the Lockwood estate, Mills meets up with an auctioneer named Gunnar Eversole, played by Toby Jones, who sounds like a cross between Little Nicky and Vito Corleone. He should be chasing his nephew around while the little bastard tags him with DDT. Mills talks to Eversole about weaponizing the dinosaurs. Oh, Christ, not this again. The last movie proved 1,000 times over why this is a shit idea. They tried this with the Raptors. It took the Raptors having 2 seconds of communication with the Indominus Rex for the entire operation to go to shit. Bringing up the fact that Russians use diseased rats against the Germans isn't going to change that. Oh, Christ alive. Mills tells Eversole about a new creature that can follow human commands that they call the Indoraptor. Whoo, boy, I can't wait to discuss this dog shit. Macy hears the first part of Mills' plan to sell the dinosaurs and goes to tell Lockwood, who tells her that she misunderstood and to go to bed and he'll find out tomorrow. Or, you know, you could look into it now. Oh, the script won't let you? Okay. Owen, Claire, and Franklin sneak around an unguarded ship, and the unguarded Zia, who is unguarded, decides to yell like a retard. Owen explains to Zia that the mercs are traffickers who plan on selling the dinosaurs. I'm not sure how he knew that. Maybe the Snyder Cut will explain that. Zia says she can't take the bullet out of Blue without a blood transfusion from a carnivore with no more than 3 fingers. I don't think that's how that works. Owen and Claire sneak around the unguarded ship to find the T-Rex, much to Claire's surprise, even though Zia had to have told them this beforehand, but okay then. As they extract the blood from the T-Rex, Owen complains about the smell. Stop being a pussy, dude. It's not the first dinosaur you've had to smell. The Mercs finally do the job and close and lock the container Rexy, Owen, and Claire are in. But they fuck up once more by not immediately hearing the T-Rex go apeshit seconds later. Nor do they see Claire escape the container and open it as Owen leaps out. Okay, first of all, are these assholes paid by the decade or something? Why are they so useless? And secondly, why did this T-Rex go apeshit in the first place? It opened his eyes and Owen was just standing perfectly still. Did we forget the first 3 movies? That the T-Rex can't see you unless you move? Or are we just retconning that too? Maybe you were retconning that shit. Owen was standing completely still, and the T-Rex just went batshit crazy on them. I swear to God, it's like no one watched the first 3 movies at all. Shit. Macy gets into the estate elevator and somehow knows which floor to go to and finds the underground lab that is also unguarded. Who hired these cunts? Macy watches a video on a laptop showing Baby Delta trying to attack Owen if he shows any sign of weakness. But Blue doesn't attack because she's the Alice of this franchise and is a good moral dinosaur.
What the fuck?
On the boat, Zia removes the bullet from Blue as Blue sheds a tear. I wish that was a joke. Plus, when was it established that Blue was an empathetic dinosaur? It sure as hell was in the last movie. Back at the lab, Macy hides as Dr. Henry Wu, played by B.D. Wong, and Mills enter the lab. And Macy, no joke, crawls in what I believe is Mills' line of sight. Am I wrong? Am I going insane? Is this movie making me go insane? Macy ends up in a dark hall listening to Mills and Wu talk about using Blue as a mother to the Endoraptor. This fucking plot's exhausting. The Endoraptor grabs at Macy, she screams and runs into Mills, who locks her in the room, but leaves the key in the door. Why? Owen, Claire, and Franklin wake up in the boat. The fuck up a second. The Mercs are so inept, they didn't check on Zia once to the point that these fuckers are asleep. Jesus, Harvey Christ. Owen, Claire, and Franklin get out of the truck, but Franklin gets caught. The guy asks if he's a shipmate and makes me want to dig my brain out with a spoon. If you, a shipmate, have to ask a stranger you've never seen if he's a shipmate, he's probably not a shipmate, you fucking dolt. Oh, this isn't the last we've seen of Jar Jar Franklin, believe you me. Owen and Claire get into a truck and drive off as part of a convoy headed to the Lockwood estate. A random soldier notices Owen and Claire drive by and decides to notify Wheatley, I'm assuming, as the Mercs start loading up dinosaurs. I guess the movie expects me to believe that these soldiers are good at their job now. Fuck you. Lockwood confronts Mills and orders him to turn himself in, but Mills instead decides to smother him with a pillow and kill him. What exactly did that old fuck think was gonna happen? The scene ends with Hammond's cane shattering on the floor. Between Il Nublar being destroyed and the cane shattering, is the movie trying to tell us something?
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Fuck you, dude!
The convoy stops and Owen and Claire plan on ditching them, but Wheatley stops them and shoots them both. Nah, I'm kidding. They get locked in the cage. You came here looking for logic? Yeah, right. Mills meets them at the cell and claims he saved the animals. That's technically true. He also says Claire is no different from him because she approved of the creation of the Indominus Rex. Well, yeah, for a park attraction, she wasn't selling him to God knows who. Owen and Claire's plot armor really shines, and when they both assault Mills and both are still left alive. That's some logical thinking. Macy uses a hanger to push the key out of the lock in the door onto paper, pulls the paper into the room, and uses the key to unlock the door from the inside.
That's just lazy writing.
She peeks out of the door and sees a guard outside of her room, so she decides to climb out the window. That should have been her first option, but okay, let's ignore that. Macy climbs her way into Lockwood's room and finds him dead. She takes a photo album from his body and hides in the laundry chute as Mills and the nanny find Lockwood's body. Mills fires the nanny and Macy descends into the basement level. Claire tries to be sentimental and talk about the first time she saw a dinosaur and how wonderful it is. call me nitpicky, but Claire didn't really care for the dinosaurs until maybe halfway through the last movie. So I don't know. Maybe, like I said, it's nitpicky. Owen said, "This one's on me because I showed him the way." Thank God that meme is fucking dead. While they're talking, the sticky mole just happens to wake up, and Owen gets the idea to use it as a battering ram to escape their cell while the auction starts and dinosaurs are being sold. Owen's plan works and they escape. Macy just happens to be standing there and they introduce themselves and she joins our heroes. At the auction, Owen, Claire, and Macy watch as they introduce the Indoraptor, who can follow human commands via post-coded laser targeting system. That's not the same. That's not nearly the same as Owen's thing. Owen trained those raptors as babies, and Blue is the only empathetic one, even though it tried to kill him twice in the last movie. How did they cook this thing up in such a short amount of time? Why didn't Mills start with this plan from the beginning of the movie? To use Owen, Claire, and Franklin and Zia to get the tracking system online, retrieve Blue and the other dinosaurs, and get the fucking Indominus Rex bone in the process. Fuck! The buyers want to buy the Indoraptor, but Eversol says it's a prototype and it's not for sale. Then why would you show it? Why not just... what? Oh, the script said so? Okay, well the script is stupid. Owen sees the sticky and uses it to attack the mercs and the buyers at the auction. Owen Batmans his way through some armed guards and stops the Indoraptor from being transported out of the estate, and instead of shooting it dead right there, he leaves it alive and runs off. People flee in terror from the estate, and Wheatley wisely decides to investigate. He screams for Mill to give him his bonus. Were you not paid already? Jesus Christ, dude, you should have... Oh, right, lazy writing. Wheatley shoots the Indoraptor with tranquilizer darts, and it falls over in the most unconvincing way possible. Possums play dead better than that thing. Wheatley opens the cage and tries to remove one of its teeth. As he's doing that, the Indoraptor waves his tail around, tauntingly distracting Wheatley as it literally smiles.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh, empathetic dinosaurs and now smiling dinosaurs. Holy Christ on the pony. The Indoraptor bites his arm off and eats him while Eversol hides and watches. Why the fuck are you still here? He does what he should have done 5 minutes ago and runs for the elevator. He finds 3 executives hiding in the elevator. Why the fuck are you still here? Eversol shoves the lady executives aside to use the passcode for the elevator, and the dumb cunt screams at the sight of the Indoraptor, getting his attention. This elevator is packed full of fucking stupid. Eversol enters the code and closes the elevator door before the Indoraptor can reach them. But the Indoraptor's tail commits the age-old trope of destroying the control panel, thus opening the door. I am too through with this fucking trope. The Indoraptor kills everyone in the elevator. Thank God, because we didn't exactly lose any fucking geniuses there. Owen, Claire, and Macy are trying to escape when Mills and 2 guards stop them. Now I've said some weird shit on this channel, okay? A lot of weird shit. I've dropped the occasional comedic M-bomb. I've wished death on a 14-year-old girl. More like an accidental death, but still. I've dealt with douchebags, assholes, and the like. But nothing could have prepared me for the next fucking scene and the scene I'm about to tell you. Oh, here we go. Mills has an exchange with Owen and Claire. Out of nowhere, with no relevance to this plot, Mills reveals that Macy Lockwood is the clone of Lockwood's daughter. I let out a very audible "What the fuck?" Human cloning has made its way into the Jurassic Park franchise. Holy shit.
I have several questions.
First off, how long has Lockwood's daughter been dead? Wait, when did he and Hammond have a falling out over this? I want to say before the first movie, but Hammond never once because Hammond never once mentioned them, right? Hammond never once mentioned them in the first movie or in the second movie because he was only in those 2 movies. But even that doesn't make sense because the girl is at least 12 years old, and I'm pretty sure she wasn't made at that age. She wasn't a cloned at that age, at that particular age. I'm pretty certain she started out a baby clone. Also, according to the wiki, Hammond died sometime after the Lost World Jurassic Park. Mills states that what Hammond did, or what that Hammond said that what Lockwood did by cloning Macy was unholy. Let's say Hammond died in 1998, right? That's 20 years ago. Macy should be a lot older. Why is this movie making me question that shit? Jurassic Park just went full fucking Resident Evil. And I love how Mills inserted this into the conversation too. He's like, I'm gonna sell dinosaurs. And they're like, no, we're gonna stop you. And he's like, you can't stop me. And they're like, you won't get away with this. And he's like, she's a clone. Wait, what? He just casually mentions it out of nowhere, and it adds nothing to the scene or the movie as a whole. It leads to one of the biggest heel turns later, but other than that, it's just a twist for the sake of a twist. And one thing I do like, before the Indoraptor attacks the two guards, because that's eventually what happens, of course, you can hear its footsteps like approaching the fucking scene. I don't know. I'm not sure why they couldn't hear it. But whatever. It was just a nice moment, a nice little subtle thing that happened in the scene. So anyway, Owen, Claire, and Macy escape into a tunnel. Dr. Wu's team is packing up the research which I'm sure will be forgotten by the sixth movie, because they did this shit in the last one, and all of a sudden they need a bone from the Indominus Rex. What the fuck is that about? Anyway, Dr. Wu runs into Franklin posing as a lab assistant. Okay. Franklin was assumed to be a deckhand on the ship, right? He was helping out on the ship. How did he end up on the convoy that made its way to the Lockwood estate? He didn't run there, okay? That much is obvious. He didn't run there. Is it so hard to put an iota of effort into the story? Anyway, Dr. Wu orders Zia to... Why the fuck is this bitch still alive? Wu wants Zia to get Blue's blood. She refuses, and Wu said he'll get it with or without her. It sounds like you have no use for her, you dolt. Franklin injects Wu with a sedative and frees Zia. A guard runs in to stop them from escaping, but Zia releases Blue, who doesn't seem to give a shit about them. But he doesn't seem to give two shits about the humans who just released her. But she turns her attention to the bad guy because they're bad and she's a hero.
Ah, fuck you.
Oh boy. Blue kills the guards, allowing Franklin and Zia an opportunity to escape. But they run into another guard who runs right by them and for some reason decides to go right up to Blue to shoot him rather than just shooting him from a distance, but whatever. Blue knocks over the guard who manages to shoot a gas tank in the process, and even though his gun wasn't even pointed in that direction, he somehow managed to fucking blow up a gas tank. Anyway, Zia, Franklin, and Blue escape as the lab explodes, releasing cyanide gas. In the library of the estate, the Indoraptor chases Owen, Claire, and Macy. Owen turns out the lights, but our favorite Jar Jar, Franklin, turns them back on again in an attempt to ventilate the cyanide gas in the basement, which, by the way, that fails, of course. Macy gets away, and the Indoraptor chases her for some... Why is he fucking chasing her? Maybe it's because she screamed and got its fucking attention. What is it with the women in this movie getting the attention of the Indoraptor by fucking screaming? I don't get that shit. Macy gets into the laundry chute and closes it in its face. That's pretty... Oh, no. Owen, with a kiss and the power of pussy, decides to go after the Indoraptor and Macy. Macy goes to her room while the Indoraptor climbs the roof of the estate. There's a pretty cool circling shot I'd like to show you, but Universal's on a rampage, so fuck it. The Indoraptor opens the bedroom balcony door and enters the room while tapping his claw. Wow, that's pretty creepy. I've never seen that before. Oh, no. Owen bursts in and shoots the Indoraptor a few times before running out of bullets.
Someone's not counting. 6.
Owen backs into a wall instead of, I don't know, luring the damn thing away from the child. But don't worry, Blue conveniently comes to the rescue and fights the Endoraptor. Owen and Macy end up outside and trapped with the Endoraptor, but Claire comes to the rescue and uses the... Wait, what? Wait, how did she get here with a busted leg? Owen left the pulse gun in the girls' room. Okay. They climb outside and almost fell to their deaths getting to where they are now. How did she get past Blue? Because she's not Chris Pratt. Oh, right. It's a superhero now. Anyway, Claire uses the pulse gun and points it at Owen. That's stupid. You're trying to trick it. Yeah, but what if that doesn't work? And he ends up killing Owen and Macy in the process. Jesus Christ, lady. The plan, of course, fails, but Blue once again comes to the rescue and tackles the Endoraptor to its death onto the horns of a Triceratops skull. And now we get to the biggest heel turns in the movie. Follow along, folks, because this one's a fucking doozy. Okay. So the dinosaurs are trapped in the basement and are going to die from the cyanide gas. Claire is about to free them and send them out into the world. Owen warns her of the consequences of doing so, and Claire decides not to. So they sadly watch the dinosaurs die. Claire makes the right decision for the greater good. It's a sacrifice that will save millions of lives. I don't even consider her dinosaur protection group bullshit redemption after her selfishness and her fucking incompetence in the the last movie, really. That's the first movie. Considering it was the fourth movie in the franchise. And her emotional manipulation throughout this movie, she finally redeemed herself in my eyes. And I finally can say to her, like, I finally not hate her now. She's found her redemption. Then came this cunt. The doors to the outside world are opened by Macy as the dinosaurs escape. She says, word for word, I had to. They're alive, like me. You cunty, cocksucking, genetic embarrassment of a human fucking piece of shit. The only thing you have in common with these beasts is the fact that you died. And if the original you was this stupid, I'm glad that you're dead. And you died, and you were cloned by elderly fucks. The carnivores will eat every living thing in sight. The herbivores will trample every living thing in sight. Possibly even more than that, considering the sticky Moloch. They will kill indiscriminately or accidentally, you logicless bitch. A fucking child just caused a dino apocalypse. This is why I hate children. She's probably a fucking low gangster or Jake Paul or a fucking Rice Studs fan. Fuck! Fucking hate children! Grant is so much more relatable now after this fucking movie. Outside the estate, Mills is just now leaving. How? Who told someone to get the Indominus Rex bone to Mills like 20 minutes ago? He's just now got it? Anyway, the dinosaurs escape and proved my point on why Macy's decision was so fucking stupid. After the stampede, Mills gets eaten in half by a T-Rex who sneaks up on him. When did these dinosaurs become ninjas? Have they trained with the League of Shadows? Did they train with Ra's al Ghul? How did we go from the iconic water ripple earth tremor scene from the original to them just being plain fucking stealthy at this point? For fuck's sake, man. Owen, Claire, Zia, Franklin, and the Harbinger of Doom leave the estate and run into Blue. Owen says, "Don't worry, she won't hurt us." You seem pretty confident for someone who said,
Put 12 amps in these animals, they're never going to trust me again.
And not to mention, she tried to kill you twice in the last movie. Are they retconning the last movie entirely? Remember when velociraptors were an actual threat in Jurassic Park?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Owen wants Blue to come with him, but Blue decides to leave him behind. There was a funny close-up shot at the end of this scene focusing on Macy, and all I can imagine is like an evil grin on her face as satanic music plays. The true villain of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The film ends with a montage of dino DNA being transported as well as the dinosaurs themselves. Throughout the world, we see the mosasaur kill hundreds of surfers. Is that what you wanted to see when you saw the trailer? Too bad. What you saw in the trailer is what you get. A cock tease. We also see a T-Rex enter a zoo and fight a lion. Is that what you wanted to see when you saw the trailer? Too bad. What you saw in the trailer is what you get. A cock tease. We also see Owen, Claire, and Macy driving down the road and watch pteranodons fly off in the distance. One of them flies into the car and snatches up Macy and rips her in half. Christ, I wish that would have happened. This entire montage is intercut with another courtroom scene with Dr. Ian Malcolm, who explains the dangers of these dinosaurs being free to roam the world. And so he says, we've entered a new era. Welcome to Jurassic World. Welcome to Jurassic World. The film ends with Blue running up to a canyon and looking over a small town. All those victims. Oh, that's right. She's not going to kill anyone. Blue's a superhero now. And then it roars into the sunset. Wow, that is so original. Oh, fuck! There's also an end credit scene with pteranodons flying in Vegas or something. Whatever. Who cares? This isn't a fucking Marvel movie. So that was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, a movie so bafflingly stupid I stopped editing my Star Wars The Phantom Menace review, and I stopped writing my notes for Iron Man 2's review for this one. I don't need a movie to be as good as the first one. It just has to be good, and this is not good. The acting isn't that good. Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt, and he's pretty good at it at this point. I mean, he has a certain charm and humor to him that makes him a likable character. Isabella Sermon as Macy Lockwood was surprisingly not bad in this movie. She's almost Daphne Keane good. Her character's a piece of shit, but the acting is pretty good. She acts like a 12-year-old girl and not like she's reading from a script or trying to remember her lines, so there's that. I could never hate Jeff Goldblum. Even in that godforsaken Thor Ragnarok movie, I liked him in that. I'm not entirely sure why people were annoyed by the fact that he's only in a cameo in this movie. I've seen all the trailers and he's barely involved in the plot of any of them, so I kind of expected nothing more than a 2-minute cameo of him in this movie. Don't worry, Chef. I can never be mad at you. James Cromwell was fine, I guess. He didn't have a very convincing British accent, but he wasn't terrible. Everyone else sucked dick. Bryce Dallas Howard was either over the top or just plain boring. I liked her costume though. Never seen a redhead dressed like that in Jurassic Park. Fuck it, it's joke's dead. B.D. Wong, Rafe Spall, Toby Jones, and Ted Levine are the most stereotypical, mustache-twirling villains in the series. Even more so than Vincent D'Onofrio in the last one. Oh, you know Wu is bad because he yells and complains a lot. You know Mills and Eversole are bad because they're all about the money. That's all they know. That's how you know they're bad. They're about money. You know Mills is bad because he yells at some cunt trying to talk to him while he's on the phone. Eversole and Mills are bad because they sell dinosaurs. Wheatley is bad because he collects dinosaur teeth and rips them out of their mouths. Give me a fucking break. Justice Smith is there to be Jar Jar and scream like a girl. Great character. Daniela Pineda, still working out that name. She's just meh. I was kind of waiting for something in the movie to reveal that she's a lesbian or something, and according to the wiki, there is a scene that was cut that revealed that she is in fact a lesbian. If this is true, then thank God they cut that, because unless her girlfriend's a part of the plot, I don't care. I don't want that shit shoehorned in for the sake of being inclusive. Lucasfilm made that mistake with Solo and making Lando pansexual. Apparently, there's nothing in that movie to suggest he is. So why add that? And if you do, don't shove it down our throats every 5 to 10 seconds. You know, there are gay and lesbian characters that are well done, and others that are not. Besides, that's not the bad part about Zia. She's just a snarky, sarcastic girl and those are her traits. Those are her traits. She's snarky and sarcastic. What a character. The writing and story is awful. It makes no sense. I feel like this desperately wants to retcon The Lost World in 3, while simultaneously referencing those movies. Like, they mention Isla Sorna, but they pretend it doesn't exist by introducing this new island. How many fucking islands are in Jurassic Park anyhow? These characters are basically characters from the Lost World. Owen is Ian Malcolm, Claire is Sarah Harding, Lockwood is Hammond, Macy is Kelly, Mills is Peter Ludlow, Wheatley is Dieter Stark. 75% of this movie's story is the Lost World Jurassic Park, and 5% of it was references to the first movie. This movie is 20% original. Stop! Stop with the nostalgia, Hollywood. If you wanted nostalgia, we'd watch the original movies. Do something new. You fucking lazy, unimaginative twats. The twist, it makes no sense and adds nothing but motivation to turn a character evil. I'm sick of these new movies trying to paint these people as the heroes. They're the fucking villains of their own story. Owen Grady is the only half-decent human being in this new trilogy. Some of the editing is off. I wish I could show you some examples, but this video would be taken down before it even gets uploaded. The pacing is pretty good. It didn't feel like I sat through a 2-hour movie. 2 hours went by quick. Some of the camera work was pretty well done. I like that one shot underwater in the hamster ball. Single long shots are actually my favorites in movies, even if the movie itself is shit. Some of the set designs is pretty good. The Lockwood estate has this more elegant, formal feel to it, while the basement area is more grim, and the labs always have this cold, soulless color to it. And the CGI effects were CGI. 25 years ago, the CGI was seamless. Now I can just tell it's a digital effect. The animatronics are good. They do often add realism to a scene. And the only problem is there's so little animatronics. They only use it for the Endoraptor, Blue, and Rexy. The score is excellent. Michael Giacchino's score never fails to impress me. He could make the worst movie sound good. My favorite tracks on the soundtrack is This Title Makes Me Jurassic, Shock and Auction, The Worst Bedtime Storyteller, Declaration of Independence, and the Neo-Jurassic Era. The main theme itself even has like a horror monster movie feel to it. The action is meh. Chris Pratt's stanky leg from the volcano was stupid, and Mills and Wheatley's deaths were surprisingly dark. Overall, this movie just stinks. It makes no sense, it's poorly written, it apes off the other movies while forgetting they existed. This currently is the second worst Jurassic Park movie. I'm not kidding, like look at this shit. Look at it. This movie just broke the franchise for me. I enjoyed The Lost World. I even thought the Jurassic World is like meh. But this movie just broke the fucking franchise for me. And oh, how I can't wait to be a pretentious douche, or more of one than I already am, and talk about the feminist agenda in The Incredibles 2. You know, instead of talking about how embarrassingly average it is, or how lazy the story is. On the bright side, or not so bright side, it gives Shadman a fuck ton of material to work with. Oh, that thick cest. Ugh. Yes, you live in a world where that exists. Deal with that when you sleep at night.
You know it's crazy, right? To help my family, I gotta leave it. To fix the law, I gotta break it.
You've got to, so our kids can have that choice.
Thank you, young man.
Combustion imminent? What does that mean? Ah!
It means fire, Robert.
The Screen Slater interrupts this program for an important announcement.
Suit up. It might get weird.
I'll be there ASAP.
Where you going ASAP? You better be back ASAP.